Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you part 2 of What If Naruto Was half Viltrumite and half Kryptonian. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, stay in tune for the rest of the What Ifs coming your way over the other channels. Yes, that's right, indeed, the 4 channels which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and smash that red subscribe button and become a part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Don't forget to comment down below and tell me if you're new so I can reply to all of you and welcome you personally. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now, guys. So, the last time we left off, it was a horrendous night. The mighty demon, the nine-tailed fox, was currently laying siege down upon Konoha. It was chaotic and problematic. However, the hero himself, Minato Namikaze, arrived and teleported the fox away. Upon doing that, he brought it towards a sector of the forest where he erupted a barrier using Fuinjutsu. Hiruzen Sarutobi knew what this implied as he tried to stop Minato. Being the professor, a man with great knowledge, he had studied a lot of things. He also studied the seal that Minato had came across, the Death Reaper seal, and he knew how to perform it as well. He wanted to be the one to sacrifice his life. But taking up the mantle as Hokage gave you the responsibility to always keep your village safe, and that is what Minato was plotting to do. However, before he could seal the fox inside his baby girl, something came from the heavens and destroyed the barrier. There was an energy pulse that destroyed the Fuinjutsu marking. It also squashed the fox down to the ground with tremendous force. Enma, the great summon of Hiruzen Sarutobi, grabbed onto Minato, stopping him from doing what he was about to do. As Hiruzen was the one that took his place, Hiruzen ended up sealing the fox inside of the girl, and he also transported some of the chakra of the fox inside of Kushina, not knowing if she would survive or not, but it was the best chance that they had. When Minato was finally able to get back up and move over, he saw a strange contraption, some sort of ship. He wasn't sure what it was. However, there was a boy there, looking over at his daughter, a child, who seemed to be around 2 years old. He could not talk, but he looked up with bright eyes at Minato. We then had a time skip as Minato sat, waiting to hear the result of his wife. The doctor told him that she was, well, in a coma. The chakra was unstable, but it was slowly healing her body. However, there was a chance that it might not fully restore her, or that she might not wake up. They will just have to hope and see. And Minato really hoped that she woke up as he looked towards a new child who had just came from the heavens. He still did not understand his whole deal or anything about him. Having another time skip, weeks passed. Kushina finally came to. The doctors were alerted. She collapsed when she came out of the bed, her legs being too weak. Minato came there within a second to see his wife awake. He also brought their daughter, and Naruto. If they were going to have a boy, they would name him Naruto. They named their daughter Mito after Kushina Master, who passed on the 9 tails to her. Kushina was confused. Where did this boy came from? He had blonde hair, dark eyes. As Minato told her everything, she would have said that he was crazy, but Minato would not lie about something like this. Having a time skip, Jiraiya was there. He was there from day one. The loss of his sensei, but He was here for Minato and Kushina. As Minato insisted that Naruto was an alien, how else could he, say that he was not after all? He fell from the heavens in a strange craft, something that guided him here. The analysis department had no clue about it, or what they could do to open it. It was just stuck. However, Kushina had taken to the boy well, and he was rather fond of Mito, always giggling and smiling with her and she smiled back. We then had a time skip a few years pass, as Minato was training with his son, Naruto Namikaze. As Naruto had shown great speed and strength, beyond anything anyone could ever imagine for his age. He was ridiculously strong and ridiculously fast. Minato was testing him on his speed to catch him with his Harashin, but Naruto was not that fast yet. Although he was growing at an extreme rate, he was extremely tall for his age. They had to give him a precise age, so he was 8 years old, as he had the same birthday of Mito, seeing that he came to them on that night. As Minato told Naruto to go and relax, as he thought about everything, he had placed Naruto in the academy, but other than learning the fundamentals and about the past, there was nothing the academy could teach him. His strength and speed was unreal. Yes, having a mind of calculation and battle instincts was necessary. But in terms of overall brute force and fighting, none of the kids in the academy could beat Naruto, as Minato had told him to hold back his strength when fighting the other kids. But at least he was making some friends. As for Naruto and Mito, they always snuck out. They met some wolves in the forest as they brought them meat. A bear tried to attack as Naruto beat the bear up, showing his great strength for a child. However, a problem would soon strike. It was the birthday of Hinata. As the families of the clan heads were invited over, Naruto and his sister were there. Naruto had an older friend, it was Itachi. As he had told Itachi about his great strength and speed because he chose Itachi, and Itachi did not tell anyone else. Itachi was very mature and he talked to Naruto in an intellectual way, as Naruto has been friends with him for a long time now. Naruto tended to notice things, as there were some problems between the Uchihas and the village as a whole, but Itachi told him that he had nothing to worry about. However, Danzo Shimura and several other people had been stripped of their power. Minato was not his, and he was a far more strict person, and he would not let certain people get away with certain things. So on the night, they had spent a lot of time out there. They decided to feed the wolves once again. Danzo had his men set a perfect plan with some people that still resented Minato from the Hidden Stone. They showed no identification of where they were from, so this was good. But Danzo would not let them have the Nine Tails Jinchuriki. He would have the Nine Tails be transported somewhere outside of Konoha. But what none of them expected was Naruto's strength. As Naruto watches the guys hold his sister, he got angry until he was able to get her away. Beams shot in from his eye. Once she was out of there, Naruto started to fight them. As the guy said that he was gonna take his sister, Naruto got so angry that, he lost it. The fight afterwards was brutal as Naruto pulverized them, pushing his hand and ripping them apart. It was brutal. The ninja from the Hidden Stone was running for his life, but Naruto smashed him until his face was, dust. As Minato arrived to see that, Naruto turned towards him, eyes bleeding crimson. However, his mind finally caught up to the situation as he looked at himself, covered in bloody and passed out. We then skipped to a location where the proud planet of Krypton once stood, a man known as Thrag. He was a leader of the Viltrumites. He stood there, and he was looking for his son. Yes, his son, which was none other than Naruto. So yeah guys, basically as we left off, you guys can switch across the play, check the for yourself. So we jump right into this brand new episode again. Now guys, we begin this new episode in an unknown location. Two men were running for their life. The both of them were dressed in grey clothing. They had a black mask on that only showed their eyes. They were also wearing a headband with a musical note on it. They were running scared until they came towards a wall in front of them. Having no escape from this creature that was chasing them, they pulled out their kunais. One of us will have to distract it and the other one goes for the kill, the one on the left said. The one on the right was trembling, his hand shaking as he heard the growling coming closer and closer. As he did not answer, the one on the left realized that he was just going to be a liability right now. He raised his heel and kicked it into the other man, showing no sympathy, throwing him off to the side near the creature. He heard the ripping and tearing. He then sent Shocker to his feet as he leaped forward, kunai in hand, and buried it into the thing. However, the kunai shattered upon impact, causing the man to fall back in absolute fear. As the monster turned to face him, it growled before tearing him apart. Suddenly, green smoke started to fill the entire place. The monster howled and started to thrash around, destroying everything as it started to punch the walls, slam the ground, throwing body parts all over to show that it was not 2 from the beginning but 10 men in total. However, whatever this toxin was, it was able to bring the monster down to his knees. Finally, after a good 5 minutes, there was a door that came out of the wall. It was hidden from view. Some sort of fuinjutsu to be exact, but now it was visible. The door opened as someone stepped inside. A sinister smile plastered all over his face. It was none other than Orochimaru of the Sanin. As he looked at the boy on the ground. Yes, instead of a monster, there was a boy there now. The boy seemed to be around 11 years old. He had black hair, dark eyes, and he was asleep. Orochimaru waved his hand, calling the ninjas from outside in. A boy with orange hair came in, as he picked up the child on the ground and brought him out. He brought him to a room and rested him on the table. Orochimaru dismissed him afterwards, leaving him there in silence. This boy was, well, he fell from the heavens. Orochimaru found him a couple years ago, at this very base. The heavens itself started to rain. Orochimaru was shocked when he saw rocks falling from the heaven, as he thought that it might be the end of the world. However, it was not. Strange meteors started to fall from the heavens, dropping all over. But what Orochimaru found was truly peculiar. An egg. A strange pulsating egg. He was confused. The egg had cracked and a boy came out of it. This boy, dark hair and dark eyes. Orochimaru was shocked, fascinated by what exactly this boy was and if he was even human. He took the boy and started to run tests on him. Strangely enough, there was nothing peculiar about him. Nothing at all. But Orochimaru did not believe that. His test might be wrong. But his eyes did not deceive him. This boy fell from the heavens, and he was sure that he was something special. So he kept the boy close, doing all within his power to make sure that the boy was loyal to him, and to him alone. Because he was special and Orochimaru could feel it in his bones. He just wanted to know how special he was. However, the boy was not the only thing that fell from the heavens. Yes, there was rock debris. However, he found a strange rock. It was green. The boy had accidentally come across one of them, and it hurt him. Yes, it made him feel pain. Now that was peculiar. Orochimaru had tried to use that on the boy by placing his mind into a state of subservience. But the boy lost it and ripped out of his restraints. When the rocket came in contact with his skin, anger rose inside of him. Orochimaru was shocked as the boy transformed into a monster right in front of his eyes. He couldn't believe it. The monster then went on to slaughter many of his men. He was shocked. The monster then came after him. Orochimaru fought with the beast. It was powerful and strong, incredible. However, it ended up passing out and reverted back to the boy, leaving Orochimaru shocked. That wasn't the only time though. It transformed again, and each time it transformed, it got stronger. However, Orochimaru found out its weakness. He was able to melt the rock down and turn it into gas, which he filled in the ear vents in the room. Whenever he used the gas on the boy, he reverted back to normal. Every now and again, Orochimaru pushed his mind to the brink because he wanted to see how much his strength has grown. He was getting stronger. The beast was getting stronger. This was his latest test, and it was even far stronger than it was before. However, the green gas seemed to be taking longer to restrain it. It was almost like the beast was adapting to it, which would be problematic if he could not subdue it. However, the boy was still young. Perhaps that was the reason why. It was still growing. The boy was not yet mature. Orochimaru did not care about that though. All he wanted was a weapon that he could use against Konoha when the time is right. He was blessed with this boy falling from the heavens. He had the boy loyalty. When he turned into the beast, he go mindless, but still, in his normal form, the boy was loyal to him. Orochimaru made sure to treat him nice, so the boy knew who was in charge and who he should bow down and show respect to. Because he will be what he would use against that village when time is right. As he smiled down toward the sleeping boy, since his change, his DNA also changed. Orochimaru already started to experiment with his DNA. That brought a dark chuckle to his lips. He had some ideas and some thoughts, as he couldn't wait to see how his experiments go. He gave the boy a fitting name, seeing that he had none. His name was Doomsday. Yes, the day when he unleashed this boy on Konoha, on the Akatsuki. It will be the end of days. A fitting name for his fitting weapon, Orochimaru thought with a wicked grin on his face. Sleep well, Doomsday, he thought to himself. Your reason and your purpose for coming to me will happen very soon, he thought, with that psychotic grin on his face. Meanwhile, at the Hidden Leaf Konoha, Naruto sat in a comfy chair. There was a table in front of him. Across from the table was a man. He had blonde hair and blue eyes. This man was none other than Inoichi Yamanaka, head of the Yamanaka clan, and also the top therapist within Konoha. And Naruto was one of his patients. So, tell me, he said, how are you feeling today? As Naruto looked at the man, it has been 1 year and a couple of months since the incident. Yes, that incident that changed everything. That changed Naruto in more ways than one. The first time he took a life. The first time he had blood on his hands. The first time he truly wanted to hurt someone. It was certainly a special day. But that wasn't all. Soon after, he questioned his father about what he was. Soon after, when he woke up, yes, he did. His mind was struggling to accept the fact of the things that he had done. That he had murdered 4 people. Despite them wanting to hurt his sister, he ripped their life away. He ended their life. At the time, he was not in a good state. To keep his mind focused on one thing, he wanted to know what exactly he was. Heat spraying out of his eyes. He wanted to know why no one else could do that. And Minato brought him there. Flashback. Naruto stood in front of the construction. A ship that had traveled through space, his father told him, and brought him here. As Naruto looked down, his hands visibly shaking. Of all the things that he expected, this was not one of them. He looked up towards the man. I always knew that there is something that you weren't telling me. Why I'm so different from everyone else. But this is Not something I expected. That I'm not truly your son and I'm an alien? Minato knelt down as he placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder. It doesn't matter where you came from. From the first time I met you, I knew that you were something special. And I took you in as my own. And I will always see you as my son. It does not matter if you're blood or not, he said to him. As Naruto just continued to look at the man, before he turned his head toward the ship. He did not say anything as he felt a strange feeling. Minato looked at the boy, knowing that this might be a lot. However, he figured that, by telling Naruto this, it could help him. He would have to sign him up to have a few talks with Inoichi. As Kushina was deeply worried, so was he. Mito had been crying a lot, worrying about her brother when she saw him unconscious in the hospital. She's never seen him in the hospital before, and it brought her to tears. Minato did not like to see that, or to see his son in a state like this. Lost in his thoughts, he barely noticed that Naruto had stepped in front of the ship. That thing has been unresponsive since day one. Minato had no idea how to crack it. The analytic department and the scientists in Konoha had no idea how to work this kind of technology. Better yet, understand it. Strange writing, strange words. However, as Naruto placed his hand down on the ship, feeling a strange feeling, his handprint started to glow. Minato quickly moved to his side, but it was too late, as a bright light encompassed Naruto's body. Naruto was not sure what happened. The next thing he knew, he was floating in a strange void. What's going on? Hello? Hello, he said. Is anyone there? His voice echoed through the void. Suddenly, a bright light erupted in the sky, causing him to shield his eyes. The light shined down on him, washing over him, and he felt safe. He felt warmth, like there was someone there. Someone that was happy to see him. And he was right, unknown to him. As Naruto stood there, something started to appear in front of him, made up out of light particles, the same light that shined down on him. A woman appeared, a smile on her face. She had beautiful blonde hair that went down into her back. She was wearing a black uniform. It seems to be all black, connected together, shirt and pants. However, there was extra parts on it, like long, strange boots, and also a strange belt around her waist as well. And on her chest was a strange symbol. It was the letter Z. Two of them. They were curved at a 90-degree, strange angle, coming together. It was weird. As Naruto looked at the woman, she looked at him. Silence. Nothing was said between them until her smile seemed to just increase as she stared at him. Adonis, you made it, she said. Naruto blinked. Adonis? Who is that? He asked. It's you, my son, she said to him. I'm afraid you got me mistaken with someone else. My name is Naruto. So that is what the inhabitants of this world has come to name you, she said. What are you? Wait, you said this world. Did you send me here? Said Naruto. Yes, I did. Because I am your mother. My name is Elysia. And I was the one that sent you here. So that you can live on and not fated to be destroyed with the rest of the planet, she said. What are you talking about? It's understandable. You would not know anything about your history. However, listen to me well. You are a son of the House of Zod. The host of Zod? Said Naruto confused. Yes, my brother, she said. Which makes you the last remaining member of the host of Zod. The last one. The way you're speaking, I'm guessing that something happened to the planet that I was originally from. Yes, she said to him. A strange look flashing across her eyes. What happened? Said Naruto. It was a lot. Our planet core was unstable. And we were also up against a terrible enemy. Who was this enemy? Said Naruto. They're called Viltrumites. Viltrumites? Yes. Your race, the race that you reside from, is known as Kryptonians. And the Viltrumites are our greatest enemy. I must tell you all that you need to know, so that you can be prepared. Prepared? For what? Said Naruto. I don't know when, but he will find you. Who will find me? Said Naruto. Your father. Naruto blinked in shock. My father? He's alive? Yes, she said. Wait, so you're not really here? He said. As he noticed the way she said that, she would have said that we're both here, but it did not seem. No. A piece of my essence was placed inside of this ship, and I'm afraid it will not last for too long. If this ship was originally mine, it would have, but it was not. What do you mean? You see, my son, the Viltrumite was not our only enemy. There was also the House of El. Zor-El, a man that did not believe in the change that my brother wanted to bring. He did not understand, and he failed to see, and in the end, he brought us all to destruction. The only reason why you're alive right now is because I was able to get a ship that belonged to the House of El, placing that symbol on you. But that is not where you belong. The coordinates I changed. I had no idea or telling how the planet would be that you would reside on, but I knew it in my heart that you would survive. I know it, and I was correct. So you're saying that you sent me to a random planet? Said Naruto. It had to be done. Otherwise, you would have been found earlier and taken. You wouldn't have been prepared for the fight that would come. What fight? Wait, are you talking about my father? Yes, she said to him. His name is Thrag. I will tell you everything. The Viltrumites, they have abilities, strength, speed, durability. They're quite powerful. They're a race of powerful beings that I know too late wanted to conquer everything. They wanted to enslave and take over all planets, to be under their empire. Naruto sat there as he listened to her. I found out about this too late. The Viltrumites' numbers were wiped out after they were inflicted with a virus, being light years away from us. We had no idea about this. Space travel was coming where we reside, our technology bringing us far beyond what most other planets would ever expect. I was the one that found your father. He was locked in a vicious battle with vicious creatures known as Ragnar. These creatures are even strong enough to wound the Viltrumite, who are very powerful. He suffered a traumatic hit to the head. Luckily I was there. I was able to use a device to blind the creatures and take your father to safety. At the time, I did not know who he was or the race he was from. As I said, our planets are light years away from each other, to the point where we would never know of their existence unless we actively try to search for them. With all the chaos that was taking place back on Krypton, I decided to take him somewhere safe. When he came to, he did not remember who he was or know anything about himself. I treated his wounds, which were grave. However, he healed rather quickly. Sooner than later, he was back to normal. with still no memory of what was going on. I tried to fill him in, to tell him things about Krypton, thinking that this was no problem. I tried to help him, believing that with his strength, we could save Krypton and stop Zor-El's foolish ways. And I end up falling for him. You see, Adonis, children are not naturally born on Krypton. They are formed in pods, created to an extent. However, you were special. You were a natural birth. However, your father was not the man I thought he was. He had been lying. It turns out he did not have any loss of memory. He knew exactly who he was. What? Why would he do that? Said Naruto. As I said before, Viltrumites take over planets. When he heard about the resources and the technology that Krypton possessed, he used this as a way to gather information to find out everything about Krypton. I was able to find out that he wanted to take you and use you. You see, my son, upon sending you to a planet, I made sure that you were close to one with a yellow sun. A yellow sun? Said Naruto. Yes. Our body, Kryptonian body, are empowered by the rays of the yellow sun, making us stronger, even stronger than a Viltrumite. Even though a Viltrumite is naturally born with powers, which you were as well, merging a Viltrumite and Kryptonian together. I pretended like everything was okay, until I could find a proper time to stop your father. Knowing what he wanted to do, he wanted to lay siege if my people did not listen. He wanted to take control of Krypton, but we couldn't allow that to happen. I told my brother about it, but your father killed him. It was all my fault. And that sparked something else. The technology that we had, we were able to drive your father off. But he returned with more forces. It was an all-out battle, a war. By the time your father had returned, you had been born. I hid you, knowing that the elders of Krypton would not be happy, especially of who I was. The planet was becoming more and more unstable. Knowing that your father tended to take you and use you, he knew the power that you would possess. Power that would far surpass any Kryptonian or Viltrumite. Merging these two DNAs together would result in something special. I myself am not even sure if there's any limitations to your abilities or powers, she said to him. It was that day that chaos reigned. The constant attack on the planet. It pushed the explosion of Krypton even further. I had to do something. I knew I had to. Thus, I commandeered a ship from the house of El, and I programmed a location where your son would reside. Somewhere far, far away where your father would not find you until you were strong enough to defend yourself. And I send you off, knowing that you would survive. I place my essence and memories inside the ship. I know that your father is still alive. He's able to breathe in space, making the Viltrumites very resourceful. I believe that he's searching for you as we speak. However, I was able to learn that the Viltrumites themselves are in war with one another. There is a side of them that don't wish to take over the universe. I'm not sure if that side is still alive, but if it is, it would slow down their progress of finding you. Thrag is the leader of the planet, and if he gets his hands on you, he will try to use you to commandeer other planets, to treat you like some pawn. Really, said Naruto. My own father. Would he really see me as just some sort of weapon? She walked forward. Yes, he would. He's a ruthless, heartless man. And if you don't do as he say, knowing your power, he will try to erase you, so that you would not be a challenge to him in the future. However, your fate is not to be a follower, but a leader. Listen to me, Adonis. You are a proud member of the House of Zod. It does not matter who your father is. Your destiny was to rule. Krypton might be gone, however. You are the last surviving son of the House of L. It is your right to rule, my son. Not to be a puppet for your father. Wait, you want me to rule as well? Said Naruto. Of course, that is your destiny. Naruto was surprised as he thought that she didn't want him to be a part of anything like that. Listen to me, she said. I can already feel my remaining essence fading. Viltrumites are all about strength. The strongest lead. So when your father does find you, he will send his people after you. You cannot allow them to break you down. Inside of you are the powers of a Viltrumite and a Kryptonian, merging together, creating a being that will be virtually unstoppable. Use that strength. Use that power to destroy all of your foes and take control. Your Kryptonian blood, the house that you reside, it demands for you to be a leader, not a follower, she said. And I know you will make me proud. Naruto was taken aback by all of this. She wanted him to take over, not to be a follower. He could see that she was a very prideful woman. She wanted him to rule. However, the Viltrumites wanted to take over, but the Kryptonians, well, the House of Zod, would not allow that, and the others as well. Instead, he should be in charge. It was not what he was expecting to hear from her. He thought that she wanted to stay out of it, but that is not what she wanted. The moment you lay your hands on the ship, I was able to see in your mind the planet that you were brought on. The people on this planet, they're beyond in technology. They're weak. Their minds are weak as well. They're unable to properly lead. Wars and chaos. They need structure. They need leadership. And you will be the one to lead them, to command them, to control them, she said. You will not be a pawn of anyone. You will be a ruler. I knew it the moment I saw your face. A proud, powerful ruler. And I have faith that you would. Just like I had faith that you would survive the journey. So make me proud, Adonis, she said as she took his hand. Naruto felt something, as the same symbol that was on her chest appeared in his palm. That is the rightful suit you must lead in. Her body started to slowly fade away in front of him, as she was smiling at him proudly, until she completely vanished. In the flashback, his mother was not a good person. Yes, he was able to realize that. Conquering was something that was bad, right? Yes, it was. He was taught between good and bad. But his father sounded like a monster. And if he did not stop him, he would try to conquer this planet, which he could not allow. There was people here that he cared about. People that he cared about deeply. As Naruto sat, speaking to Inoichi, his mind was running on all of that. He told Minato everything. Yes, he told him. He had went home that day and hugged Kushina. It doesn't matter if she was not his biological mother. He still saw her as such. She was there for him from day one, so nothing changed. However, the whole experience had changed him. He realized that there was truly horrible people in this world. What his mother was saying might sound evil and decrepit, but in a sense she was right. At the moment he was still conflicted. Inoichi watched the boy, as he knew that Naruto was still hiding a lot. He's been doing this for a long time now, with him. They have made great breakthroughs. As Naruto asked him, what was the point of it all, good and bad? What was the point of life? He had tried to coach the boy through it all, emotions, feelings that he felt. It was a good thing that Mito did not experience or saw what happened to Naruto. The girl would be mentally scarred for her life. Inoichi believed that he was doing great things, and Naruto was coming along nicely. Time skip. It was night time. Deep within Fire Country, there was a man. He was a former Hidden Stone shinobi. However, he forego that life. Instead, he took up a life of crime. The leader of a large group of bandits mostly. However, this was a lot better to him because he had people that were under his control. They feared him because, well, he was a former ninja. He was stronger than them. The strong survive and the weak dies. He did this because of money. He did illegal jobs because of money, but he saw being a ninja was nothing but a waste of time. Payment as a, well, crime boss was far, far better. Drugs, human trafficking. It was better to him. So he dived in that. His men were weak, but he did not need them to be strong. The people that they go after was not strong to resist them at all. He walked. Yes, there was a facility. Not too large, not too small either. His men were taught personally by him. While they were not Jonin level, some of them were Chunin level. So yes, they get the job done. As he stood in front of a doctor, on the table was a naked, unconscious woman. The doctor was making sure that she was okay. This might seem to be something good, but the doctor was not a good person. The doctor was a sadistic woman, long black hair in a doctor coat. She was the one that checked on the females to see that they were okay. And she was the one that broke their mind. After all, they sold these girls and they had to be in proper condition and loyal to their master. The man, the former stone ninja, his name was Hayato. As he looked towards the doctor woman, she always had this strange small smile on her face. She did not seem right in the head. After all, doing a job like this, one had to be, well, not mentally and all there. Don't worry, she's just as special as the other girls. Looking forward, there was cages. Cages that had humans inside of it. Girls inside, whimpering and crying. Haido simply chuckled to himself. He was going to make a bundle from this. That is when he heard shouting as he turned to see one of his men running towards him. "Sir, we have a problem. There's an intruder." "What?" said Haido. His base was hidden deep within the Fire Country. Somewhere that he was sure that Konoha Ninja would not find him. Unless one of his boys messed up and allowed ninjas to lead them back here. Snarling angrily. "Continue working, Doc," he said, leaving the woman to her devices as he made his way. "Who is it?" he asked. "I'm not sure, sir, but they're powerful. They're overpowering our men." "Move," Haido said as he pushed past the man and stepped outside. The area was large as they were still in the underground section. However, the wall beside him started to crack. Boom! Something flew and slammed into the other side. Haido saw that it was another person. Wait, it was one of his men. What? Haido turned as he saw something in mid-air with two red lights shining down. Haido jumped back as the two red lights pierced right through and split. His subordinate head opened. His man head exploded. Haido was shocked as blood and brain matter flew everywhere. Quickly stepping outside, Haido saw 10 of his men throwing kunais up in the air. However, there was a massive gust that repelled them all. Something then came down and smashed the ground hard. Bodies were lifted up. All of his men, all 10 of them. The next second, something flew faster than he could even comprehend and ripped them apart. Limbs and body parts were sent flying. More of his men started to arrive. The thing eyes started to heat up before. Haido had to duck as a beam tore everything to sunder. Screams of the dead and dying could be heard. It was chaotic. As his men were put down one after another, Haido, wasting no time, pulled for something from behind him. As he unsealed a staff that he used, he was a bow staff user. Moving with immense speed, he brought it down to crush the skull of this person. However, the person spun around and caught it, shocking Haido. What? How? He tried to pull back, but the person would not let go, and he could not sum up the strength to pull it back from the person. That is when he had to let go and jumped away as he saw the person's eyes turning red. Before he could fully get out of the way though, his own staff ripped into his shoulder. The person had thrust it with such strength, it tear into his shoulder. He screamed out in pain as he was pinned against his own wall. As he realized that there was no man left, all of his men were butchered. Who the hell are you? Haido asks. Lightning strike above as rain was pouring down. It was just a drizzle at first, but now it was pouring. Haido was able to see the person. He was young, no more than a child. However, he was in a strange black and white suit. The suit was all black, with a strange white cape that flowed down beyond his shoulders. A strange U-curve symbol in his chest. As he stepped forward to reveal that it was none other than Naruto, his face bare for the world to see. As Naruto looked at the man, he reached behind him as he pulled out a small red book. It was a bingo book. C rank, missing ninja. Haido. Who the hell are you? Haido said, hearing his name called by this person. Oh, me? That's not important. I've been hearing your name being spoken a lot recently. You're not as secretive as you thought you are. You kidnap, well, your men do. They take people beyond their consent and use them. Mostly girls. They kill without guilt. Merciless, wicked, corrupted sins that need to be purged. Haido tried to pull the thing out of his shoulder, but it was deep in the wall. How did this kid have such force? The next thing he knew, he felt a hand on his hand. As a kid had grabbed onto his hand, holding it still. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Haido tried to look away, feeling fear after seeing what this kid did. What do you want? I can pay you. I'll give you whatever you want. Money. Women. The kid squeezed his hand as Haido screamed. He broke every single bone in his wrists. There is something that you can give me. Understanding. How did you feel knowing that you were taking these ladies, using them for your diabolical schemes, getting payment for them? Haido was stuttering in pain. I guess people like you don't care about those things, huh? Feelings, emotions. Well, I'm here to justify that. Naruto pressed his finger on Haido's chest before he yanked. Haido screamed as Naruto tore his arm clean off. Tell me, are you now understanding the pain that you put those ladies through? Their families. Naruto grabbed the staff and ripped it out, causing Haido to fall to the ground. He then grabbed Haido by the head and threw him. Haido smashed right through the wall. Naruto stepped forward. Tell me, do you suffer like they suffer? Tell me, do you cry like they cry? Feel pain like their family did? Do you finally understand what kind of monster you are? Knowing that one day that something like this might happen to you. To feel the pain that you brought upon them. Huh? Answer me, said Naruto, his voice shaking the entire place. Haido was crawling as he tried to get away. As Naruto stood on his back, applying pressure, Naruto snapped his spine. Haido screamed as Naruto picked him up by the face, before he whacked him across the face. Haido's head smashed into the wall as he started to bleed. As Naruto stepped forward and grabbed him by the throat. I suppose you don't even have a heart, said Naruto. Or maybe. Naruto pushed his hand through Haido's chest as he tore his heart out. Oh, you do, said Naruto, as he squashed it in his hand, dropping the dead body on the ground. He then kept on walking, making his way down the hall. Arriving there, the moment he stepped inside the room, a strange needle-like blade was coming toward his eye. However, His heat vision released and destroyed it. My oh my. Now aren't you special to get all the way down here without even any injury? As Naruto looked towards the woman, he scanned her up and down as he looked at the other woman on the table. Given your gender, I thought you would be repulsed by something like this. But I guess monsters don't discriminate, do they? Even gender-wise. Now, young man. Before you go on, her throat was grabbed. Her eyes widened by his speed. His back was turned to the girls in the cage. He tapped the center of his palm, and his clothing vanished, replaced by a cloak that covered him from head to toe. The woman was gargling as she tried to breathe, but she could not. As Naruto applied more pressure, and more until her face turned blue. She died. Right in his arms, he threw her body through the wall. The ladies all backed away in the cage. Easy, it's alright now. You're all safe. I'm here to help. He grabbed the restraints on the table that was holding on the woman and ripped them off. The woman looked up at him with tears in her eyes. Fear, however, she saw that he was going to help her as he tore the ones off her legs. She was in a state of shock. After everything that just happened to her, she clutched onto him like he was a lifeline. As Naruto moved, not bothered by her weight, he grabbed the locks on the gates and tore them open, freeing all the girls inside, and saved them all. Time skip. Naruto pushed open the floorboard in his room as he entered back inside. He moved over and sat on his bed. Yes, he was underground a moment ago, back in towards his house. Tonight was another purging of the sinful ones. Since the whole debacle with Mito, it indeed changed him like he said. People noticed, like Itachi and his mother. They asked him if he was okay. Perhaps it changed his mannerism somewhat. However, there had needed to be changes. Not just with that, but in everything. The first thing was his strength was stronger than ever. His speed, and now his heat vision, and also flight. Yes, he could fly, soar through the sky like a bird. It was amazing. He had powers that he could only dream of, but it wasn't a dream. And his hearing was far advanced than anyone else could even imagine. It was first at the red light district when he saw a girl being pulled into an alley right here within Konoha. He heard her screams. Late at night when he was on his roof, he found the guy. He had moved so fast that the girl did not even see what happened. The guy was struggling and begged him to let him go. However, Naruto knew what he wanted to do to that girl. Why should he continue to live? It was just like with Mito kidnappers. That guy told him that he was going to take Mito and kill her and make her suffer. Why? Why would you do that to a child? From that day he learned that people like that did not deserve to live. Maybe his mother was not that far off. Some people need proper guidance. He was lost, angry. The guy had begged him to let her go, but he applied too much pressure when he hit him, and he snapped his neck. The guy had died. He was afraid, he was panicking. He just killed a citizen of Konoha. Yes, the guy was a monster, but what has he done? He didn't know what to do, so he took his body and flew. Knowing that he could not get out of the village that easily because of the barrier, he went through the forest, and he dug underground to get out of the village. He flew so far and threw the guy into a deep ravine where no one would find him. Days passed, and there was nothing. As Naruto realized that he has gotten away with it, since then, he started to stop people from committing crimes. However, what truly sent him over the edge was when he decided to explore outside of Konoha late in the night. A family, a normal family, in a village. The village was not well off like most others. They were small and poor, and a group of bandits were trying to take it over. The things that he saw the bandit leader did to a girl that was so far below him in age made Naruto's skin boil. He had ripped the guy to pieces. In a blind fit of rage, he decimated them all. He had been covered in blood. That night he had been shaking in his bed. However, he did not feel pity for them. They deserve it. Since then he had been leaving at night, going out and exploring the world. He found a couple of his recent victim bandits and he got information by torturing them to get it. He was doing the just thing, murdering those people that need to die. However, he didn't want his family to see him in such a way, because when he go after these people he became heartless. He became a very monster itself to do his job. His birth mother had blessed him with this symbol in his hand. Whenever he wanted, his clothing would materialize around him, even on the clothing that he was wearing. He currently wear a hood underneath it, so whenever he needed to hide his face he could. Since then he has been saving people, delivering the girls back to their homes. They would need a lot of mental help. Therapy, perhaps, he thought to himself. After the things that they saw, however, those things no longer bothered him. However, what he feared was what he will have to do very soon, if they don't stop. Itachi said that he did not need to worry about what is going to happen, because the adults would handle it. He said that everything was fine, but it was a lie, because of his super hearing, and not to mention another ability that he had not told his parents about, because it was a recent one. He could see through walls and anything. Like the Hyugas, he could see a far, far, far distance away. Uchihas were gathering, mostly the fighters. They were plotting a coup. The elders of the clan, they had lost respect within the village. They were blamed for the Nine-Tails attack. It was said that the beast's eyes showed the Sharingan, and the Uchihas were blamed. Since then they lost respect and power, and they want to get it back by plotting a coup. What were they thinking? That kind of civil war would cause the outside world to target Konoha. Naruto felt like he should be the one to fix this, and he could see no other way. He was not sure if his father knew about this, but if he did know, the Uchihas might push their coup quicker than usual, and he didn't want that. These Uchihas were nothing but monsters. They wanted to kill people, innocent people as well. If they did not side with them, they were so violent. He couldn't allow that. He couldn't allow the whole village to be placed in chaos for one clan. Not all of the clan though, but some of them. All those that agree with the coup, they needed to die. As Naruto's eyes flashed red, he needed to protect his family and the good people of this village. They just recovered. They did not even fully recovered from the Nine-Tails attack, and yet these damn Uchihas wanted a coup. He needed to do some more investigation to find out the full scope of what was going on, and with his abilities he could do that. Time skip. I did it, said Mito in joy as she brought out the paper. As Kushina smiled at her, she clapped happily. Mito had just sealed a lot of items into a scroll. Her Fuinjutsu lessons were coming along nicely, as Naruto watched proudly. Told you that you were awesome, he said, smiling down towards his sister. She placed her hands at her side, doing a superhero pose. Yeah, I'm awesome, she said, as Kushina smiled at her children. She was hesitant on telling Naruto that, well, everything. However, even after that, everything was okay, and that made her extremely happy. She had her son and she had her daughter, and everything was fine. Time skip. Itachi left, followed by Shisui, after everything was finished. The privacy seals were disassembled. At the moment, Minato was with the three elders. Minato needed their expertise on this. While he was a very powerful and capable man, he also needed insights and people that wished the benefit of Konoha. And unfortunately, Danzo was one of them. Yes. The thing was, Minato could not just bring up the coup with Fukaku. Because from what Itachi had told him, from being a double agent, Fukaku was adamant on going through with this as well. The elders were intent on this. The elders of the Uchiha clan. This was something that they all want to go through with. This was bad. If Minato brought it up, Fukaku might push the plans up. And he also might know that Itachi was being a spy for them. Yes, he could go to war with the Uchiha clan, but that would just prove to be disastrous. Danzo was adamant on killing them all. No. As Minato's voice was stern, there was no protest that could go after he said no. Once again they were reminded that this was not the third Hokage they were dealing with. Homura on the other hand agreed with him though. The Uchihas might be useful within the future. Erasing all of them now will just weaken the village more than it has already been weakened because of the Nine-Tailed Fox. I think we should go with the other option of using that Uchiha that is on our side, Shisui. Danzo frowned at hearing that. They wanted to use Shisui because Shisui had a plan. His Sharingan was immensely powerful, he could change Fukaku's mind. However, Danzo did not want that because he was up to something. He had failed. Since his failure, he had been keeping a keen eye out. However, he barely had the opportunity. But now was not the time to think about that in this man's presence. After what he had did. But it does not matter though. He would not allow Shisui to do what he wanted. Shisui would die soon enough, he thought to himself. As Minato nodded his head, I will explore the benefits and the disadvantage of Shisui's plan. But none of you are to make a move unless I say so. Do you all understood? Said Minato. They all nodded, as they had to. Once again reminded that this man was not letting anything slide. Unaware to them though, someone was listening from a far distance away, his eyes glowing, as he was seeing them all. Naruto has been doing surveillance, and now he knew more than enough. He was pretty smart for his age, so he understood the politics that his father had to play at. That man Danzo, he needed to do some investigation on him. However, if his father authorized the assassination of an entire clan, the other clans would not be so happy about that. Despite the Uchiha's act of aggression, fear would be a big part in it. To know that the Hokage would just erase an entire clan like that. Yes, ideals and twisted emotions were always a big problem. However, they had a plan. Naruto knew of Shisui. He did not have much contact with him, but he met him a few times. He was one of Itachi's close friends. As Naruto will wait and see what Shisui had to do. If he failed though, he will have to step in and correct this matter. As he flew away. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Don't forget to share to all of your friends in social media platform. And also guys, stay tuned for the rest of the what ifs coming your way. But I'm out for now, see you guys soon. Peace.